What's up, space engineers? I'm mother. Right, hold up. Oh, who are you?
Oh, well, I'm a YouTube viewer.
Oh, I've never seen one of you before.
Yeah, I go running about the YouTubes looking at videos all day, making sure that everything's all nice, big and spam, and my favourite creators are doing the best they can.
Hold on, you mean to tell me that I'm about to break the rules?
Ah, you almost made a big mistake there, man. You can't be swearing in the first 30 seconds of a video, don't you know? YouTube's changing all the policies now. So, yeah.
Or I could just do what I kept doing.
Nah, lad. Here's what you need to do. You need to follow the algorithm. You need to You need to have thumbnails with big, large red letters and red circles and waifus and all that kind of stuff. You'll get loads of views then.
If I check my data on YouTube, yeah, you might have a point. Well, alright, let's get back to the video. Anyway, what's up, space engineers? I'm Motherfucker Jones, and welcome again to another video from Technique Enterprise. A long time ago, well, I guess not too long ago, but some time ago, I told you that I was going to give you guys a vehicle videos that were showcasing all the vehicles that I've made, and well, I've been lacking. I've been lacking a little bit, and can't really explain why I've been gone. Just taking time off and, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, welcome back, and here we go. We're going to go ahead and enter into this video on tanks. Yes, tanks. Why tanks? Because, well, why not? Duh. Anyway, we also have something else to show you first before we get into the tanks. We have this big rig, which will be just a little thing for you to see in this video. But without further ado, let's get into the entire video. So, what do we got here? This is the NKE Big Rig. As you can see, it's a semi. It's supposed to be a semi truck with a cab. It's got a rotor over there for the trailer to be flexible when it turns around. We can go ahead and drive this thing around a little bit too if you guys want. Show you that it's actually movable, drivable, all that stuff. It's got a ramp in the back, and I will show you what's going on there very shortly. Same thing, design copied onto the other side. Basic design, just a trailer, just a basic trailer. It looks, well, it looks exactly the way it should, in my opinion. The cab is also a little bit retro. I don't know, some newer cabs don't look like this. I kind of went with like the old school style, the whole old school slimline style with the lights popping out and everything. And in front we've got those heat grid blocks or whatever the heck they're called. The heat vents, yeah, that's what they're called. Man, it's been a while since I played this. We got the heat vents that will actually open up when you start to apply power and get this thing moving. We've got our bumper bar here made out of blast door blocks. We've got some small grid. I forgot what these blocks are called too, but yeah, you know what I'm saying. Here, let's go ahead. Beam blocks. Yeah, they're beam blocks. It's got small grid beam blocks in there for detail to make it look like it's got a bull bar up front. We've got like an air intake here that I've kind of makeshifted a atmo thruster to. And to get in, we just hop onto these side rails here, or side walkways. You just kind of get some momentum and hop up. Click this button here, and then the window pops up like there on that hinge, which I thought was pretty cool. I mean, look how those blocks overlap like this. Check this out. It's kind of nice. Well, I guess they don't overlap, but they butt up to each other really nicely. So that's how you get in. You've got this seat right here. You've got two seats, and I believe left on the D-pad will close it there. There we are. And inside we've got a basic cockpit. We've got gyros back there to control the roll. We've got a turret control block there for mostly design, as well as the antenna there. Kind of looks like a stick shift. I don't know. Alright, going into third person view and taking off the parking brake, we'll go ahead and see how this thing moves. There we go. slipping in the front a little bit there. I'm trying to turn it so that you can see that the rear actually does turn and all that, but why won't it move? Is it lagging? What's going on here? Oh, maybe my friction is set a little bit too high. Let's see, let me go to my suspensions. That could be the problem. Oh, I don't have my suspensions hotbarred on this. Uh-oh. Well, we could always go into the configurations, control all those wheels, give them more friction, and then obviously give this more power, but as you can see, it's moving along. Not very fast, of course, because the wheels keep on spinning rather than grabbing, but it's like one part of the wheel is actually getting traction. That's weird. But yeah, we're moving along at a very nice 2 miles per hour there. Yeah, it's very, very, very impressive. If I kick the Atmo thruster on, we can get it up to 4. Oh my, look at that. Isn't that impressive? Anyway, like I said, it can be tuned to make more power. It's just moving kind of slow right now because it's actually holding our first tank of the video. I know, you're like, what? There's tank in here? Yeah, there's a tank in here. So let's go ahead and under here, let's pop that button down to drop the ramp down. And voila! Here it is. This is the NKE semi-tank, appropriately named because, well, you'll probably be deploying this from within a semi. Now, the thing about it, though, is because it's back here, it's, like, really hard to get into, but anyway. Just plop that down there. Get into that like there. Now we're inside of it. I'm going to go ahead and plop the suspension up a little bit. Ooh, there we go. It's going to have to ride over those wheel arches in the trailer, and voila! Okay, maybe not so much voila, but there it is, a little mini tank coming out of the back of the semi-truck. This is made using a few mods on it. If you haven't noticed, these are 2x2 blocks, or wheel blocks rather. Hold on, let me see if I can get my welder on one of them so that you can see what they're named. It's a modded block. I can hit the B button. There we go. Real wheel 2x2. I guess this is the mirrored version. But if it was not for these wheels, I could not make this tank. So thank you for modding those in the game, I guess. You know who you are. This tank is light armored. Actually, it's heavy armored, but it has some very unarmored spots to it. Like this port right here is used to put the ammo inside of it, and it is also used as ammo storage. So we have a bunch of 1x1 cargo containers lined up there. That means if these are filled with ammo and they get hit, they could explode, but since they're so small, I am hoping that reduces the damage to not be so catastrophic. Also, hopefully you're not facing your side to your enemy, yada yada yada. This comes with a radio antenna, so you can make it, you can see where it is in the battlefield. You've got an exhaust port there that will shoot smoke once you start going forward. This is the hatch for the back. I was thinking about making a static entrance back here, but, just making like a grid or something that you can see through to get in, but I thought the little hatch was kind of cool, so I did it anyway. And it is a one-person tank, obviously. We have lights up here for seeing in the dark. This is more of like a suburban infantry support tank, because it can fit into small spots and all that. So going back into it, up and down closes the hinge. On the back, down on the D-pad gets us into our turret, and our turret has a nice little protected window glass here for our camera, as well as we can see both of our cannons very well, so that when we fire, we can see what we're shooting for the most part. I guess that kind of clogs up the vision for a second, but yeah. The turret is 360 and elevation compatible. A little bit of elevation, not too much, but enough to get it to get on target. I think what's actually blocking it is those blast door blocks. So if we wanted to adjust the turret to, I don't know, let's say shoot up higher, we could always modify it a little bit and put something like this in the back. Or maybe not. Well, we could. I think it's because of the angle it's sitting at right now. It doesn't want to do it, but we could, you know, modify it if possible. Oh, now the hinge doesn't want to open up. There we go. I'm having all the problems today. But anyway, now you can obviously probably see up a lot higher. No, it's still blocked. Well, maybe it's the side panels. Something's blocking it now that wasn't before, because I remember this being able to aim up a little bit higher when I first made it, but you get the idea. Also, if you've noticed on the side, those are chain guns for, you know, anti-infantry defense. Those are turrets, so they will automatically lock onto infantry and all that stuff. The only thing about them is they've got a little bit of a reduced range, but they get the job done. And they are basically standard on all the tanks. So that is the semi-tank. Literally just the semi-tank. Half-tank, rather. Moving on to more tanks. We've got the NKE Xeno tank. This tank is also kind of a medium style tank. This one was designed for urban-ish environments. It could be considered an MBT, but honestly I've designed it to be more of a medium tank. And this has a few cool features that we'll get into it in the turret there. Starting from the front, we've got a wedged angle front like that with a very 60-degree angle there and a 30-degree angle there. So not sure if any shots are going to bounce, but theoretically that was the idea. We have a full block of heavy armor and some blast door blocks guarding the tracks on each side, as well as a little bit of heavy armor paneling on top of that to keep it all together. We have some ceramic armor plating guarding the turret and some of the more vulnerable spots that you really don't want a shell going through, like in here that would accidentally sever the rotor on the inside, something like that, and as well as the 30mm chain guns for anti-infantry and that kind of stuff. A very sleek tank. We have, you know, a radar dish and a spotlight on the back there with more ceramic blocks. And to get into it, we get in the back here through that grate that I was talking about, or whatever the heck I called it. Let me go ahead and get rid of this weather really quick. Nobody likes weather. Okay, that's not true. Sometimes it's nice. There we go. Now with all the weather gone, we can see this thing in its full whatever. And get back into it. So these guns on top have a little bit of a trick to them. This MBT does not just fire all of them at once. It will actually... here, I'll just go ahead and move it around so you guys can see it's moving, just like the semi-tank. Yeah, these actually move. I just want to make sure you guys know that they move decently well, too. I mean, I would say that's pretty good. But anyway, so you can turn your antenna on and off. You can get into the turret here, which I think this has a much higher angle. Yep, it has a much higher angle of attack, so you can hit a lot of different targets. Let's say the target was right above you or whatever. With a ship, you could fully aim the turret vertical on this one. And that's not its only trick. Another trick of it is that it will fire in sequence. And also, there is a recoil reduction system for this tank, because as you saw with the semi-tank, when you fired both those cannons, the whole tank basically went vertical, right, with all the recoil. So what I thought is maybe I could do a recoil reduction thing with pistons. And so we've got pistons, actually, with a little bit of travel there, and they are set on timer blocks so that when that cannon is set to fire, the piston will travel back, reducing the recoil felt by the tank and increasing your follow-up accuracy for the next shot. And I have it on a timer block so that they will fire the, I think it's the middle one, and then the left one, and then the right one, and then it resets all the cannons, and it goes through the cycle again. So we're going to go ahead and do that. It's been a while since I've done that. I haven't touched this game in over 3 months, or maybe even more than that. It's been a long time, guys. I've been hooked on Foxhole, I ain't gonna lie. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into the cannon here, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Let's go ahead and pick this tree right here, and we're gonna fire. So as you can see, if you look at the cannons, you can see when they fire, the recoil is so much less. I mean, we can't really see what we're hitting after because of the smoke, but once it clears a little bit, you can kind of get an idea of where you're hitting. Or if you want to go into third person, that works too. But the cannons actually have reduced recoil on the whole chassis because of the way the pistons pull back like that. Very little recoil on this thing. And that, like I said, at long range and follow-up shots, it increases your accuracy insanely. That the chassis is barely moving. I mean, it's lifting up the front a little bit. I don't think it's coming off the ground, but like I said before, you know, would you rather have that, or would you rather have something that basically lifts the whole tank off the ground when you fire it? So for example, we'll just go ahead and compared to that much recoil, I think it's a no-brainer. I think the piston thing is actually a really smart idea. I don't know, you guys tell me what you think in the comments, if that piston idea is a smart idea, or if it's just beckoning Clang to take your creation to the underworld with them. Anyway, that is the Xeno tank. Not much more going on there. I think you guys kind of understand what that's all about. Just really, really like the whole recoil system on this thing. And yeah, the turret does spin around 360 and all that. You can have the AI control it, and it should actually do pretty well for you. The AI turret will basically pick up targets for you, and it will use that firing sequence if you want. You can hit the timer button before it fires at the target it's looking at, and you can keep that cycle going. Anyway, moving on to the next tank. The next tank is the NKE Tech Tank. We call this the Tech Tank, and the Tech Tank is actually a chassis. The chassis is basically just a universal design for larger style tanks. And the chassis basically just gets augmented a little bit from tanks from now on. But this is the main one. This is the MBT, the Tech Tank MBT. It comes with the 30mm chain guns. It's got a few ceramic armor panels over some of the conveyor ports to make sure that those don't get destroyed too easily. We've got more heavy armor on angles in all different places. We've got the cockpit up front so the driver can see exactly where he's driving into as far as trenches or holes or whatever. Obviously, you can do that in third person, but if you like to go in first person, there you go. This is a two-person tank, so we can have a driver and we can have a gunner. Where is it? Here it is. That is the gunner's seat right there. I was thinking about putting a hatch on here, but I don't know. After some thought, it didn't seem like it would be a good idea. So we've got the driver, we've got the gunner, and this turret on top is not a custom turret. This is actually a modded turret. This is a 400mm assault turret in large grid. It is sitting on a large rotor head, doing the small to large grid switch. And as you can see, it sits flushly on the small grid right there, so that's kind of nice. It's hanging over the edge a little bit. I suppose if I didn't angle this part in a little bit, it would be sitting flush, but I don't really mind. And those 400mm cannons do some damage. That is also a turret, so it can be controlled by AI, but you do have the seat in the back for if you want somebody else to manually shoot it while you're driving. Getting in, this is what you see. And as you can see, the tank is movable. It's fairly agile for how big it is, I think, maybe, possibly. We've got angled antennas at the back, and there you go. And I think this shoots one after the other gun. Or maybe it shoots both at the same time. I don't know. That kind of looked like one or the other. Maybe we'll go into third-person view and... Oh yeah, it is firing one at a time. Okay. And then if you hit it again, it fires the other one. So yeah, you can do one at a time or fire them both at the same time, or whatever you choose with this one. This MBT is ready to put the hurt down. 400 millimeters of hurt. Ba-ba-booey. Alright. I think you guys get the point of this one. Basic, simple tank. Over here we have another version of the Tech Tank chassis, but this one is actually with a large grid artillery turret, and the reason I did that is for that maximum range of 2,000 meters. So this is actually the artillery version of the Tech Tank. This is something that you would park, I don't know, 1,800 meters away from an enemy's base and just drop down artillery shells on them. In planets, shells do take the curvature of the Earth, so you can aim up a little bit and have them drop down onto a enemy base. Not too much of a drop, but it's there. I'm always wondering when somebody in the modding community is going to come out with an artillery cannon that has a bigger gun, like maybe a 300 millimeter cannon or something, and then has the drop of the bullet like insanely, I don't know, double, maybe double as much as this, so that it would just act like a huge arc. Basically, I just want artillery. That's all I'm trying to say. I just want to be able to have artillery in Space Engineers. So if anybody in the modding community is working on that, I applaud you. And if you're not, please do. It'd be the best thing. Anyway, moving on to the artillery tank, we have the driver position here. I couldn't cover it anymore because of the way the large grid sits on top there. But getting into the turret here, we can move it up quite substantially so that we can get our angle for artillery drop, and then of course we can move the big old turret around to get our position right on where it needs to be. And if that tech tank wasn't so dang heavy, the whole turret would actually flip the thing over, but I've done enough to make the weight of this thing counteract the top turret just enough so that it doesn't flip when it's rotating around like that. It wants to a little bit, but it won't. And that top part is made out of heavy armor large grids, so it is quite durable, a little bit more durable than the blast doors or heavy armor in small grid, and that just adds a little bit more survivability when it comes to this thing. Obviously, you wouldn't want to put this on the front line because it doesn't have any 30mm chain guns to protect it from infantry. It's basically just a mobile artillery platform. But, yeah, I thought that would be something kind of cool to make a tank out of. And moving on. Oh, also, the tech tank is a little bit augmented. Not so much moving on. A little bit augmented in the back. As you can see, the back is a little bit different. And we have the grate for the passenger to get in. So if you wanted to have a driver and a passenger using the artillery gun. So you can see the bullet drop in there. It takes forever to reload this thing though. Anyway, moving on to the next tank actually, and I'm going to change the time because it's getting dark over here, so there we go. Alright. Now this tech tank is a railgun tech tank. It does come with 30mm chain guns for the usual defense. The seat is in the same spot. This one comes with a survival kit. Actually, I think the other one comes with a survival kit as well. Yes, it does. and that is key for tanker crews to spawn back in and weld up their stuff. Let's say they had a storage box on their thing with parts to weld it back up if it got damaged, but they died. I don't know. Survival kit could probably be helpful in a tank. Anyway, this is a railgun tech tank. It is using the Advanced Weapons Pack dual railgun turret on a large rotor head, and it is basically just the same thing as the other one, but with a railgun turret. And then you can hook up all these screens to whatever you want them to say. I've got a little bit of a HUD for the turret gunner in the back here. But he can control this railgun turret, and it also shoots one at a time, just like with the other advanced weapon packs. But, oh, look at that! I did not know that. Look, the railgun actually has drop in atmosphere. Look at that! Oh, I did not know that. I thought the railgun was a straight shooter. No, the fucking thing. Wow. I guess you learn something new every day, folks. Railguns have bullet drop. But anyway, that is the tech tank with a railgun. And that completes my arsenal of tanks, really. I think I have a few other ones, but honestly, nothing to write home about. So let me know what you guys think of the tanks. Let me know if you think there's anything I could work on, or if there's another type of tank that I'm completely missing. And I will definitely get around to maybe making those and showing you my iterations of what you guys basically, what you guys think I should make. But until then, you know what it is. I'm Motherfucker Jones from Technique Enterprise, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace.